webcam.
There it is.
Yeah, because you've done enough reading. Why you sitting over there?
Oh, who?
You, I gotta leave too.
I gotta leave before you. All right, that's on TV. With that,
It's a bass clip.
what does it mean?
It's music. I like this music.
Thank you.
All that time I was with me, y'all did it.
What's on that?
Oh, okay. Make sure you're in the right spot.
I told him, I was like, why he over there? Because I gotta leave too. You trying to sneak out.
Listen, anybody tell you.
He didn't even tell me I was gonna be doing it.
Here you go. You gonna act all surprised.
No, I am. That is, I promise.
That sounds like me when the police pull me over.
I'm not surprised when the police pull me
Yeah,
over.
I'm always surprised when police pull me over.
Because I know when I'm speeding.
That's a whole other topic.
Hey, I'm not saying I ain't speeding. I'm just saying I ain't the only one. That's all I'm saying. If you gonna pull me over, I need you to pull everybody over.
He ain't gonna do that.
The injustice here is a threat to justice everywhere. That's what I feel like.
You might not have it.
No, I'm not Apple friendly.
What's my cuss? What's my one? Yes, please.
I ain't want to kick it.
No.
You push the table crooked like that?
He probably.
No, I did not.
Okay.
Excuse me.
No.
I gotta check on my.
Ain't nothing wrong with that boy.
He can't be yelling either.
This look like beer.
It looks like
Yes, the phone.
it look like apple
Look like
cider.
beer.
You like apple cider with a hint of Hennessy. All right, that's enough. Hey, so what you got going? What you got coming up?
A lot. Taking up and doing a lot.
We are on CP time. Please apologize.
He asked me if I wanted some water.
Everyone. We are on CP time.
He wasn't lying. What? He was like,
We are on CP
"Let me
time.
get some."
Who moved the table
Don't say no CP time.
over? We are on CP time. Please
Yeah.
understand. We are on CP time. Whoa! I tell you. Are we live? All the way live. Can you hear me? Check the sound. All right, we got sound. We don't have a distinguished guest today. I think we have one more guest coming in. Y'all excuse me. Darren, talk to the people while we wait for our next guest.
I would be more than happy to talk to the people because we are coming up on a Jaguar game, coming off of a Jaguar win. I am excited about that. We will be tailgating this Sunday at the Lots. It's going to be a big tailgate this weekend. First of all, because again the Jaguars spanked the Texans. Did you see that, Deshaun?
Yes, I saw it. Well, first of all, there was nothing else on TV. It was out of Hurricane or Jaguar. Shoot, I had people come to me, you a Jaguar fan? I said, no, there's nothing else on TV.
Well, you're not a Jaguar fan. What do you mean?
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah.
Y'all from Dallas?
I'm from Oklahoma.
You're excused. Deshaun.
Yes. It's America's team. It's America's team.
But you live in Jacksonville, America.
True.
You have no excuse to cheer for anybody other than the Jaguars. It's kind of disgraceful.
Why would anybody cheer for anyone but the Jaguar?
Because the Jaguars haven't given us a whole lot to cheer about.
Did you see the game Sunday?
Yes.
We had We played an amazing offense and defense on both sides.
Yeah, it was very good.
Mhm.
That was a very good game.
But that wasn't enough to sway.
That wasn't a very good season. Give me about 7 more of them, and then I'd be like, oh wow, I need to be converted.
They do a little something.
Anyway,
I'd be like, what manner of man is
this
this?
Sunday we will be live, the Candid Jag show. Nashawn probably will be there, and he will be rooting Jaguar if he's at the tailgate.
Probably so.
There will not be any Cowboy root going on.
Yeah, nothing wrong with cheering for the Jaguars.
Yeah, I want to listen to LJ.
I gotta got my own camera.
That's right.
Yeah.
LJ got a song.
Big cats.
We got a birthday girl coming in here.
Happy birthday.
Comes in with a birthday outfit. Go ahead.
Everybody keep trying to say.
Oh, everybody always need to charge their phone when they come in. There's a plug right underneath there. You see if you can reach through there.
I got it. How y'all doing?
All right.
Ooh.
See, this is why we try to tell everybody to come early.
Stop saying that.
This is why we say everybody come early because
Yeah.
no, we say about 7:30.
Tech Man was not on time.
We
Oh,
were on
man.
time.
Oh man!
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
All right. Dude, that was a good time for the hashtag.
Hashtag.
No. Don't do it.
Just because it's your birthday. All right, we're going to introduce ourselves. We want to welcome everybody to the show. Welcome to the show, everybody. Hey! This is the Shade of Truth show. And we want to welcome everyone for tuning in. We want you to make sure, I don't got everybody on camera. Hold on. I see, Nation, you out of frame.
Yeah.
Hold on a second, Nation. I got to make sure. Go that way, look at it. He's on in. Be a friend. She's gonna bite. You come in a little bit. Make sure everybody's on the frame.
It's not my fault these guns so big though.
But I forget sometimes when you look on the screen, you can still see everyone. Let me just see. Just hold on, sorry. We're gonna start off on this side. Go
Can
ahead.
you back it up some?
Yeah. Wow, I'm on the wall actually. Go ahead. Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Valeria.
Spell it. You get that all the time, man.
B-E Laria. That's it.
Cause it sounds like you said Valeria.
No, bug. B is in boy.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Oh.
Tell me a little bit about what you do.
I am a jack of all trades, actually. So I do a lot. I cook, have my own catering business, By Bees, BYBE''S, By Bees Mobile Cafe, and I'm geared towards healthy eating, flavorful healthy eating. I do gluten-free, baked goods. I cater towards a lot of vegetarians, pescatarians, people, who like to try to eat healthy. So, I mean, I make soul food, but I just make it healthy. So instead of putting a lot of butter and oil, we use coconut oil or coconut flour, gluten-free. So you're eating healthy, you don't even know it. I also do hair. I'm a stylist, so if you need your hair done, that's me. I'm a mother of 3, a daughter, a friend. I mean, I can just keep going on.
Jack of all trades.
Awesome.
Yes.
All right, and it's me. It's Tara. I am your hostess with the mostest, Candid Jags. You guys heard me ranting about the Jaguars earlier. That is my baby. I love the Jaguars. I love the Candid Jag show. I love the people that come out to the event each and every home game on Sundays. You'll see the big Candid Portrait tent. We are in the city.
Please tell her how you got started with that.
I got started with Candid Jags. I expressed an interest in wanting to do a little bit of interviewing and commentary, and Mr. Britton said, well...
I'm candid. I don't go by the government.
Mr. Candid had a bright idea. He said, hey, I got a camera, I got a battery and a backpack and a mic. Let's go down to the stadium. He put all of that on his back. We did a a poster on a stand, and we just stood out in the middle of the entrance to the stadium and just started grabbing people. And after a while, we didn't have to grab people. They were just coming over to us, giving us interviews, wanting to get on camera. It's amazing how many people want to get on camera. I guess the Jaguar alcohol doesn't hurt. It kind of encourages them to come and do it. So we have grown from one camera and a backpack to several cameras, a 10 by 10, the 10 by 10? The tent?
10 by 15. 10
by 15 foot tent. We have sponsors that sponsor our tailgate. We do a banner, a different banner actually, each week with those sponsors' logos on it to help advertise their business for supporting us. We have a YouTube show where you can check out the last 2 seasons. This season will be on there as well. I cordially invite you all to come out this Sunday. Typically, we are in the parking lot right across from the old Tailgaters Bar. We're right there on that corner. You can't miss us. If you're going to the stadium, you will see us. So I cordially invite you guys to come out, have a good time. Speak your mind about the Jaguars, good or bad. We want to hear it all.
All right, this is my turn.
It's your turn.
So I'm Michelle Martin Pyramid on Facebook, MRS Michelle Martin Pyramid. Life coach, motivational speaker, writer, director, mentor, CEO and founder, finally Truth Sep, an everyday women's support group and youth organization. I do a lot of collaborations with other people in the city, do music, a lot of development, artist development, I do a lot of stuff. So if you want to get your head right, you're tired of being tired, I'm your girl. I'm the only girl in the city that do that. So you're depressed, holler at me. No judgment zone. What's that? Hashtag no judgment zone.
All right. I'm Lashika, Lashika. I actually work at Everbank doing security. I'm in the process of getting my license, so I'll be at the game Sunday, so I might catch y'all out there.
That would be like the best thing when you see somebody you know, be like, hey, wait, you working? Oh man.
Yeah, I work with all the major events, so I mean, so far it's been a good experience for me. I got to meet a lot of great people. So get my license.
And it's your birthday!
I'm 21 today. I'm 32 today, so.
All right, 21 again.
Okay. Always.
Yeah.
Always. I'm also up and coming model. I do spoken word poetry. I've actually performed here at Candid Poetry. Had a chance to meet my man here, good people. I have a business. It's up and coming. I bake. It's not healthy stuff, but
it's okay.
I bake, and I'm gonna work on that. I'm gonna do that.
Cheat day. We need you.
Yeah, definitely. I have 4 kids. 2 girls, 2 boys. My oldest, her birthday is actually today too. She's 13, so she big 1-3 today. Just getting my face out there and enjoying my life. You know what I'm saying? I'm definitely blessed to see another year. Definitely blessed my baby to see another year. You know, I'm just excited to see what God can do in my life.
There you go.
All right.
All right.
They already know who you are.
Go ahead.
Yes. Sean Nitro Nix, pastor, cage fighter, motivational speaker. I work with youth and adults on fitness goals, health goals, and self-defense. Excited about what's going on in our community, especially with the recovery, the camaraderie here in the city, and on the north side of folks just working together to get past the aftermath of Hurricane Irma. And I'm just excited to be on the show. You can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, hashtag you can get it too. All right.
Moses West said, what about that fight though?
Tell Moses West. First of all right. See, this is what Moses West's problem. Moses West's problem is he failed to mention he ain't here. So I can say whatever I want to say. And you can't rebuttal nothing. You don't ever mess with a man with a microphone and you ain't got one. That's what you tell Moses. But I told Moses, I said, listen, there is no way Conor McGregor is going to win this fight. I was just showing how this was not going to be a pushover fight. Mm-hmm. And like I said, out of Mayweather's career, Conor was able to make clean contact with Floyd more so than any other fighter that he's faced, including the great Manny Pacquiao. That's what you can tell Moses West. Tell Moses West it was a great fight. That's what you tell him.
Moses, he says it was a great fight.
Yeah, I predicted that it was going to go out in the 7th round. It went out in the 10th. I thought it was going to be over in the 7th. I'm sorry, these guns.
He said not true.
What did he say?
Not true.
What's that?
Moses said not true.
What did I say? Whatever I said, I put.
Whatever he said is not true.
Yeah, it's not
Everything you just said is not true.
It's okay. I'm gonna be here though. Moses, I'll be right here.
Moses, come on.
Hashtag, you can get it too. Last time he came with his bodyguard. I had to hit his bodyguard in the belly.
He said he ain't got
But I ain't got no mic, so I shut up.
Hey, Moses, we appreciate you, man.
Yeah, Moses. This is your brother. I love you. You the man. Named after the biblical character, Moses.
That's a great name.
The deliverer.
The deliverer.
This is water, by the way.
You just act like it's gin or something like that.
Yeah.
So I just want to take a moment to thank everybody for coming. And each and every person here, make sure that you subscribe to the Shade of Truth Show. I do have it up. If anybody's looking, you can see it up. That's actually the page that we have, and we have some of the shows that we've done. So we go ahead and put them up there. And of course, we want to monetize the show, so we want to get as many people to subscribe and turn on your notifications. So please tune in to the YouTube page, Shade or Truth Show, and share it. Tell as many people as possible. So we need you to do that. All right, so that's right. Ask your questions. Today we're going to do basically a little bit of a round robin where we are going to ask some people to bring some of their Shade of Truth questions, but we're going to give the topic. So the topic that we're doing today is stereotypes, workplace madness. It could be, some of the things you deal with at work, some of the things that, sadness, goodness, depression, whatever the case may be, and then hurricanes. So,
well, you just said you can help.
So, I think we'll start off with the hurricane. Let's start off with the hurricane. That was the most recent thing that happened. Some people are still dealing with that right now. So it is a touchy subject, but at the end of the day, we do want to talk about some of the things that you thought about before the hurricane. And some of us did get into some damage, and some of us did not. But what were some of the craziest things you've seen as far as people preparing for the hurricane?
Oh, man. It was crazy. Stores without a bread, milk, whatever you could think of, water. It was mad. It was crazy. And you got them last minute shoppers that wait till everything gone. But I was already had everything I needed to be ready. It was crazy.
I was out there Sunday night and Monday. Looking for bread.
Going from store to store.
Yeah, I went to 12 stores looking for bread.
Even the store right by me, Dollar General. Don't. They wasn't playing.
Yeah, it's such a crazy thing because it hits certain places, and certain places are going to deal with, like, some people still without power right now. You without power.
Yes.
And you trying to go home. Where you going to go home to?
Listen. I was going to church.
You going
That's what I said. Open your ears.
You were going to church.
I'm still going.
Okay. I hope you make it there.
I will.
I'm just saying, you like, oh, I got to go.
I did.
Well, listen.
Where you gonna go?
See, that's what your problem is.
I think you can get
you
it
gonna
too.
take Jesus where you go. Was that?
When you say you can get it too, I think it was made for her because she be ready.
I This is the shade room. No.
No, this is the truth room.
This is your wall.
This is the truth room.
I don't hear you.
This is the truth room.
I don't hear you.
All right.
Okay,
See,
you got the question. You want me to do it?
That's all them pesticides
Okay.
in the room.
All right. So I saw like some people fighting over gas.
You saw that?
Mm-hmm. They have everything on YouTube.
He told me he saw.
Right.
I saw it on YouTube. It's just like seeing it in real life.
I know my brother was in the store. He called us and he was like, it was a lady because everybody was searching for water and the truck that just got there dropping off water. And she was running around the store talking, water on aisle 9, water on aisle. He thought it was like a movie. It's like, oh my gosh. Like nobody really thought it would be as bad as it was. And I think a lot of people would do a better job of preparing when they get the warnings next time.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're not ready for anything really to hit us. To me, it's the like when you say, man, people don't know if it's God or not. I always look at it like, man, look, that's got to be, intervention. Like, okay, they can't handle that.
Mm-hmm.
We got to just move it over to here. Do some.
If you look at all of the areas that flooded that you would have never thought would have flooded the way they did, if we actually got a direct hit, Jacksonville would be underwater.
Yeah.
We would,
right.
Yeah, completely.
Right, and then it's like say the islands, they kind of built a lot different than what we're built for. A lot of this
and they're
stuff,
accustomed to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's like they always get hit.
Mm-hmm. They rebuild really fast because they have infrastructure in place to do that.
It was scary to me because I actually went to Riverside downtown, over by the landing, flooded, and I'm just picturing in my head, and I see the pictures on Facebook, and I'm picturing in my head like, what if this was 10 times worse? We would be wiped out. I went to the store yesterday.
You gotta use your outside voice.
I went to the store yesterday and tried to get some things from Walmart. I mean, it was no meat, nothing.
Right.
I have never seen nothing like that before. And
oh, the specials are out, and like I went to Popeye today, the specials are off.
oh yeah, they probably
They have
money
regular
now.
prices now. They don't have no $5
They're
chicken.
making money right now.
No more boxes, no specials.
2-piece box?
No 2-piece. No. They give you 2 pieces. They give you 2 pieces, but the price of it is like, $10 for 2 pieces.
Man, and some old grease.
Another late person.
In the midst of all of their preparation, this is how I'm saying it.
Okay.
In the midst of all of this preparation, you get in your canned goods, your breads, your water, and all of that other stuff. But the question becomes to me, how many people actually have survival skills?
Right.
Because we're talking about how bad it would have been, but who knows how to make an actual fire?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If you didn't get charcoal, if you didn't own a grill.
We ain't in church.
Hey,
What are you doing?
what's going on?
What are you doing?
Keep going. You're all in the camera.
Oh, should be more in.
Kind of sub by nature. Look. She's talking about deuces.
I have one here.
Well, I'll talk with you later.
Okay.
All right. Hey, we welcome Tanya to the show. Welcome. Hey. Slide over a little bit, Tanya. So you know, slide over a little bit. Ease on in that way. Get you some camera shine.
Sean, scoot down a little bit because you got.
All right, here you go. Now you tell me to scoot down. Now you tell me to scoot down.
Well, we're trying to get Tanya in the frame.
No, she's all right up there. You can have to go over there. You good right there. You good. All right.
I'm sorry. You said survival skills.
Yeah, I think. Okay, we can buy as many canned goods and all of that as possible as we want to, but I mean, actual survival skills, I think we lack. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, the power was off, but people was frantic because they was out of power for 2 days. You know what I mean? Like, you were not really mentally prepared for that because you're so accustomed to the luxury of hitting the switch, plugging up your phone in the socket and all of that. But I mean, I even saw people riding around a couple hours after the hurricane passed looking for a restaurant. What you buy all the stuff for? You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not really prepared for it.
It's like people buy those snacks and they don't want the snacks.
Right.
You
like,
eat them all.
But you don't understand what it's for because you have to ration that stuff. Like, each individual person's body, you need a gallon of water per day. And you know what I'm saying? And if you got 5 people in your house, that's 1 day. 5 gallons, that's 1 day of water. You're buying cases of water. You know what I'm saying? But like you.
Do you think people eat too much during that time?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like it's like a
time.
holiday.
It's like, okay, so it's a hurricane coming. I'm supposed to be.
We're gonna find out in 9 months.
Right.
Right, now that's juice. I'm sitting on me then.
Right.
That's it.
Okay, yeah, the honey buns, I eat all them. What lemon things, cheese, Danishes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all that. Eat all cookies, chips.
Right. Hurricane pass, you know, gave 15 pounds. They call it the shot and Nikki the trainer.
You better call me. You better. I can help you get that hurricane fat off of you. Look what a hurricane did to me, Pastor. I can get all that off. We can get all that off. Listen, I got to rate for everybody. But what I want to get at pertaining to what you're saying about the water. All right, when we look at a gallon of water, when you buy a case of water, say it's like 16 in a pack, I think it's about 10 bottles of water is like 1 gallon. So when you really get a case of water, you're probably getting 1.5 gallons. So it's deceptive. It looks like you're getting more, but you're actually getting less. And then what kind of just stunned me, like, if our people drank that much water a year round, like, they would never go to the hospital, like, because they'd be constantly flushing their system from all those extra toxins. But it's just humorous to me that, oh, I need to get some water. Oh, I need to get some water. But you
never drink
but you don't even drink water.
4 cases of water instead of a 3.
I didn't get a case of Kool-Aid. I didn't get a case of Kool-Aid.
But then
Kool-Aid was brought up.
All right, but then now, Terry, now this is what gets me right. All right, let's just be real about this, okay? All right. Well, this generation, all they know is bottled water. I came from a generation where we drunk bad water. Listen. I'm a bad water drinker. You know what I'm saying? My mama had to come and tell me, you better stop drinking that bad water. Like that's the one. Yeah, like the water hose water, like that came out the earth, out the ground type water. Like there was no. I'm trying to figure out, like, when did we become so bougie?
We're lazy society. Everything is given to us. It's so convenient.
Well, I mean, you know, because like I said, society said drink water out of the mountains or whatever the case may be, and then they worry about, of course, it's like, don't drink the water. It's a boiling water time, and so it's like you can't drink the water then.
Advisory. What I would
you
say,
got to be bougie then.
but let me share something with you. Because like I said, I kind of pay attention to trends. I pay attention to trends, and I pay attention to the stuff that we put a lot of emphasis on. Like whatever TV tells us we need, that's what we're gonna get. We're gonna get whatever the TV tells us to get. Now, I spent a day out in Washington Heights yesterday. People actually use their stamps to load up the refrigerators. Like you said, they were not ready for the power to go out. When the power goes out, now the food's going bad. All those stamps that they got at the beginning of the month are gone because they got meat that they can't even cook. Because, like, and if they do,
why your stamps were fronted. Wasn't nothing extra. So don't be looking for it on the 13th of next month. You ain't getting them.
They got it early, but if they're in the household and the lights are out, they can get some emergency stamps now.
Yeah, but what I'm getting at is that, like, we have not prepared our people for these type of shiftings in the atmosphere. For example, like coal. Like I'm looking, I'm like, man, how are you gonna cook all this stuff? I see bags and bags of coal in Family Dollar, Dollar General, in Walmart. I'm like, how do these people expect to cook food without no power? You understand what I'm saying? The power goes out in a regular storm, and if a hurricane really does tear up our city, how are they going to cook the food that they have? Anyways, just looking at the social dependency on convenience, basically, and a lack of, once again, survival skills. Then looking at the fact of, all right, well, they need to go out of town. All right, well, go out of town and do what? Go out of town and do what? Spend money you don't have on a trip you didn't plan for, and then you're fighting for gas that gas stations don't have, and you're stranded on the road. So I think this was a great learning opportunity and experience For those of us,
to Atlanta.
we
overcrowded stuff already.
But like I said, I think this is a great opportunity for us to kind of think more on a local level. Like, I don't look at the president of the United States. I like to go back. I like to I like to break it down, because if we don't get this stuff right locally in your immediate family, your immediate community, then basically what you're asking them for, they're not able to do that. So we have to learn how to do for ourselves. And I think that's something that we need to take time. Like, listen, let's learn from this. Let's learn. What did we learn? Like, because now I'm in Washington Heights and I'm heated. You know what I mean? I'm heated. I used the D word yesterday.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, my pastor got it. Yeah. So, but like I said, I want to make sure that people understand that I was irritated because our people, and I associate with our people, is that you're in these housing projects. There should be generators in every apartment complex. There should be a generator in every apartment complex, especially when it comes to what you'll call like project housing, because you have the elderly as well as newborns. Elderly have medicine that needs to stay cool. Newborns have medicine that may need to stay cool, or milk that may have to stay cool. And I was very disappointed that even property managers were not prepared. They didn't have one generator on that property, and they didn't have one generator.
Really?
I'm not talking about the residents. You can't put a generator in an apartment. The fumes will kill everyone in there. What I'm getting at is the community centers should have had them.
Yeah,
You understand what I'm saying? And like, I'm looking, and then I'm observing, and then I'm also paying attention to the fact that people who aren't working, they're contract employees. So if the school is closed, or if this business is closed, they don't get paid. And rent coming back up, utilities coming back up, bills coming back up. So we got to have that long-term planning strategy in place of a hurricane, of a natural disaster, or you're like, I would actually treat it as if I got fired today, how are we going to survive?
Right.
That's
in
all.
General, right?
Yeah, we have to create our own circumstances to prepare for things like this. In my opinion, like I said, the Zello app. Did you guys know?
Somebody sent it to me.
Yeah, like these are things that we should have already had before the hurricane. Don't try to send me no app during the hurricane. I see you when I see you. I see you at the crossroads.
Right.
So you won't be lonely.
Let me be negative Nancy on the situation here.
Go ahead.
When you say like the generator, that's a good one. The generator. I feel like when we say we're talking about a particular neighborhood, stuff like that come up missing. So they might have had a generator.
They had one.
But it ended up in Tyrone's house, and now the community center don't have a generator. Because somebody took it. Hey, look, say the truth. Say the truth. Stuff come up missing, stuff like that. They're just sitting there and not being used. It's like, this is for the hurricane. Don't nobody touch it. 1 year go by, 2 years go by. They don't use this generator. I might well take it to my house. That's some people think like that.
But I think a generator, at least one, as Nashawn said, it should be treated like if a fire extinguisher came up missing, they have inspections and they're gonna make sure.
Yeah, somebody need to do the inspection
and
now.
I think one generator at least should be like that.
Right, and somebody should go shopping and say, well, the generator's missing. We need to go ahead and get a new one.
At all times.
All right. Oh, I got to put this out here. One of the things I did notice.
The generator missing again. Who took the generator again? We about to take some names around here, man. Got surveillance cameras now.
Well, you know, all the tenants got generators.
But I gotta say this, right? The sewage on the north side of Jacksonville sucks. It sucks.
Oh,
and if the media, as far as mainstream media, local news stations, any of my friends that happen to be that are watching this, or listen, shame on you. There was very little coverage about the north side citizens and people on the north side and the effects of Hurricane Irma in our neighborhoods. once again, I don't feel like that was fair. It wasn't evenly shared as to what was going on. Granted, the beach. We're not trying to do a comparison and contrast as far as, well, who got more damage. I'm talking about coverage. And our people were fighting to survive just like everybody else. However, I didn't see us.
Don't be negative Nancy to you right here at the end.
I ain't have no powers. I ain't have nobody because we ain't have no powers.
Don't be negative Nancy. They try to act like we don't exist. That's what that's about. It's about let's show the side that we want to show. That's why all the negative news is our side. Like nothing happens on the other side of town. Everything always happens on the north side. It's as much killing going on anywhere, you know. But if they focus the bad stuff on us, anything like, oh, they're struggling, da da da. You know, just like time when you did the positive event, it was like 2 seconds on that initial video clip, and the rest of it was about the shooting. You know what I mean?
And like I said, I'm not trying to prolong it, but I just wanted to make sure that if we're going to talk about Shade of Truth and just talking about the hurricane, people need to be aware because they figure, well, if they don't hear about it,
right,
they don't need our help. And people, once again, now I'm about to go somewhere else. I don't believe in sending money to Red Cross.
Here we go.
I don't believe in that. I don't believe
man.
because our people do not reap the benefits of all the funding that goes to this Red Cross initiative. It goes to help make. Listen, and I'm gonna share something else with you. Our black entrepreneurs, we gotta hold our local officials accountable. Because when you look at all the damage in our city, I don't want all the white major corporations getting all these contracts to rebuild our city. Yeah, I don't want that. I want seriously, because now we need to do this cleanup. Listen, you folks don't even come talk to me. You don't go out your way.
Let me tell you what I saw today at work.
What you saw today at work?
I was today.
Terror Live.
I worked right at the foot of the Main Street Bridge.
The foot.
And it looked like New Orleans when I got to work. I was like, why would they ask me to come in here? And it's looking like this. All the parking garage, the streets. But I saw 2 Mexican ladies clean not only our parking garage, the Steinmart parking garage, the streets that runs between the 2 buildings and part of Main Street. 2 Mexican ladies with a broom and a thing. I saw some guy talking on a walkie-talkie. So I guess he probably was managing them. So they give the contracts out.
All right.
Are we going to get the contracts?
No.
All right. Listen, I'm
Be
trying.
fair.
All right. What I'm saying is, how can I put this? We have to hold our elected officials accountable. We gotta hold our city government accountable, and let's give our people who actually live in these communities, who are licensed and bonded for these contracts, an opportunity to get this work. That's all I'm saying. Because that's how the rich get richer and the poor get poorer, because they get the contracts. And yeah, we get the work. Like I said, I'm not talking about the work. I'm talking about the contract. You give us the contract, we can hire our own employees. That's what I mean by that. Fair is fair. That's all I'm saying. All things being equal, if we have the same license, the same bonding, the same skill set, why not give the people who live in these communities an opportunity to get those contracts? Period. That's it. If we don't go for them, then that's our own laziness. But that's all I'm getting at, because it makes the situation even worse. And then, like I said, I can go on and on and on about it. And then, like I said, the sewage system, these ditches should be expanded. They should have been expanded years ago. And to see our neighborhoods where people's houses are underwater, once again, how can I put this? This stuff ain't making the news. You understand what I'm saying? Now, we looting, we'll make it then. We stealing, that's what they do. But we're not, they're not seeing the fact that Kenite is flooded, which is a predominantly African American community, and it's not high income. You understand what I'm saying? So, that's an opportunity to say, man, we need to do something about this. And I don't hear it. And that's what I mean by news coverage, making sure that, listen, this is not just an issue for downtown Jacksonville. This is not just an issue for the landing. This is an issue for us too. like I said, all things being fair, we all pay taxes.
So let me answer this. You're kind of being a devil's advocate. If we get more
bounce it. We want everybody to talk. Go ahead. Not you. I mean you. I know you was asking him a question. I'm saying ask everybody a question. That's what I was trying to say. Ask Tanya a question. Excuse me. Pardon me. Go ahead.
But that was just my spill on a hurricane. Is that we weren't prepared, and we need to be teaching this type of stuff. And one of the best platforms is school, is to be able to teach those survival skills. Like that's how you apply science and social studies, and it comes together.
You're right.
Let me bring it back.
It should definitely be there. But I mean, when you start thinking about the things that's being pulled, I remember when I was in school, we had a class where they taught us how to write checks and all of that stuff. They don't have it. They ain't even, the cursive writing and all of that other stuff. They pulled a lot. So why would you say, okay, hey, I want to teach survival skills. They're gonna shut you down off rip. They don't want you to know. You're not of importance. That's why you're not being shown. Just like Houston, they got people in the poverty-stricken neighborhoods who still haven't been saved. And people say, well, they didn't leave. They told them people they should have left. But these people don't have the financial means. Some of them don't, a lot of them don't even have cars. So what do you mean evacuate? I can't do nothing but try to ride it out. But then y'all ride past me and I'm like, hey, what about me and my baby? They act like they don't see you. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's just how it's broken down.
That's what negative Nancy going again here. Listen, I'm with you with that. It is that's where racism is there, and people don't understand that it's there. People are like, oh, it's not. Like you said, the neighborhoods, they don't show that. They don't give us the right information. They don't train us. It's like, let's let them be. If they die, they die. You know, honestly, that's what happened in New Orleans. You know, for the most part, and then they moved them people out and didn't let them come back at all. So a lot of people could not get their house back again. It's because they really, if they can get rid of as many people as they can, that's what they'll do. It's
that's why I said, because they view them as worthless. You know what I'm saying? You're milking a system. You're this. You know what I'm saying? You see all of that other stuff. So it's like, okay, so what is your point here? You see what I'm saying? But at least I know that I got these people over here. They understand money. You see what I'm saying? These upper classmen, so to speak. Right. You know what I'm saying? They understand money. That's all I think.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? But the lower class, they're just straight survival. Right. But we don't want you to survive because you need us to survive. Right. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, we do the math. We cut out about 20,000. We don't go to that neighborhood. Right. You know what I'm saying? We ain't gonna say
yeah, that's the low income neighborhood.
Exactly.
There.
Because
we'll go there.
You're not a benefit unless you go to jail.
Right. And we don't complain as much as we should. Like you said, I'm with you. What you say, holding the government accountable. On the rich.
We complain.
We complain.
We just don't do anything about it. All we do is complain.
We don't have the funds to get some people out of the office because we complain.
Trust me, we're gonna make the hood great again.
Yeah.
Where's it? Hashtag make the hood great again. You hear me? You can get it too.
Rich people calling like, if you don't get a dump truck over here today, right now,
right?
And somebody bring the dump truck just that quick. Because it's one phone call. Because they have that kind of clout. And they can do it. They can do that. So
we talk a lot about not having the funds and the means to make differences and stuff, which most of us don't. But if most people or a lot more people just did a little bit at a time, I mean, we'll just say the little stuff I do in the community, the stuff he does in the community, what you do in the community. If everybody or more people took on that type of attitude as a whole, then bigger things happen.
Yeah, you're right.
That's the thing, though. Everybody don't have that attitude. Some people just want a handout.
Yeah.
They want you to walk
up to them and want to just sit back and complain.
Yeah.
And
do absolutely nothing. And today, I mean, I feel like it's all about money with some people.
Right.
If you don't have
or
this,
recognition,
or you don't look like them, like she said, you worthless, you do nothing.
Right.
And I agree with what you said too. You know, we got to stand up and do something, because if not, you're just gonna keep running all over us, ignoring us, acting like, I mean, we basically don't exist. You know, but a lot of people, and I say it all the time, they complain, no, I used to hear my mom a lot growing up, oh, these Mexicans come over here and open up a business, they just taking all our businesses. I'm like, I don't know, maybe I'm a kid, didn't really understand. I'm like, well, maybe they came over here and worked for it. They ain't just give it to them.
They got some work in it.
Yeah, I know they came over here and worked for it, but they seem to work more together as well.
Right.
Well, they came with nothing, but they worked together to get something.
Yeah, I think
we don't work together. I mean, we can't work together for knocking each other down.
Yeah.
Want to be over each other.
Yeah. A restaurant, I mean, come on, they literally keep the restaurant in business because that's where they're going to eat. I mean, my cousin opened a restaurant, I'm going there every day.
Right.
Every day.
Every day?
Every day.
Hold up. What we eat? Beans, rice.
Tortilla.
Eat the same thing.
Every day.
Every day.
No, you might
I'm going to support my people, though.
We might switch to what's on the menu. Like, hey,
make the wild great again.
Add a little bit.
I learned that, like, even like the nail salon I go to, I've been going to her forever. So, I kind of know somewhat of where they came from and how they got to where they're at now. And I know one thing the Vietnamese do is when they get over here, they like all live together.
Yeah, right.
They like all live together. They get a house, live together, and whatever it is they do, after each one of them get their thing together, they go off and make their life with their family, but they start out working together until they eventually branch off.
Right. But the money still stays in the family.
Mm-hmm.
That's why with the Mexicans, I love y'all Mexicans, my brown brothers and sisters, but it is 12 of y'all jumping out of 100. It is, but they just keep it locked down until they can. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, it's the unity. It's so much comparison with us. You know what I'm saying? It's like, well, I'm looking on Facebook and Tanya got a new car, so I'm not gonna use her services. I'm mad. You know what I'm saying? Because you can. Everybody don't have the same walk, but and we haven't invested the same time. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So Tanya may have been putting in on her walk 15, 16 years, but you jumping out a month and you think you supposed to have, you know what I'm saying? You haven't earned it. It's we don't want to trust. We don't want to understand that we need to deprogram, and we don't want to understand that we need to grow. Once we put all of that together and going to receive something from the next person, because you don't know what they've experienced. Everybody has a different lesson. They just might know a little something more than you. You know what I'm saying? We don't want to trust one another. We just want to just kind of go at it. A friend just be like, okay, well, I got it, I know. You don't know no more. Like, the comparison, that's what we're lacking. We can't build like that where everybody kind of go, everybody know each other's strong points, build up a strategy, execute in unison in every pocket, because then it just swarms. It's just like the internet, that because we don't have control. Mm-hmm. Drop one live video or recording of police brutality, white cop versus black victim. It gets shared 50 billion times. But then when you got 20 of us executed in our strong areas, you see what I'm saying? That's gonna flood the same way. Mm-hmm. But nobody's used that tactic yet.
Right. If it is used, it's used at a very minimal use. David Emanuel and Pastor D. Demetrius Sr., they use the term unity over beliefs. I like the concept, unity over beliefs. However, it's very hard to work with our people because of what I consider classical conditioning. Classical conditioning goes back to Ivan Pavlov, and he got his theory from Dr. Lamaze, who came up with the term Lamaze therapy, which is coaching women through pregnancy through breathing techniques. Carter G. Woodson identified the fact that when you're able to control a man's thinking, you don't have to wonder what he's going to do. And our thinking has been suppressed to government dependency and European validation. So we don't accept validation from each other. If I tell you you're beautiful, if I tell you you're beautiful, it sounds good, but it hasn't registered with your spirit. But if they tell you you're beautiful, oh, I got it now. I got it now. I'm in there, and that's the thing that so like I said, it is done. It is done. I go out my way to let our sisters know how valuable they are, how beautiful they are. However, they're still waiting for that validation from other nationalities and other cultures. However, I need you to value my statement in your life just as much as you value their statement. And like I said, unfortunately, like you said, it is deep rooted. And what we can do is from this point is the more that, like you said, if we're going to keep working with Tanya, we got to keep working with her. We're going to keep working with Chris. We got to keep working with him. We're going to keep working with Terry. We got to keep working with each other to make this thing happen.
Because the point is to elevate. The point is to grow. You know what I'm saying? You can't get mad because somebody is teetering. You working together. You're right here when you start out. But somebody might go a little bit. You see what I'm saying? And it's like it's discouraging. You know what I mean? You can't. That's the point. Right. Because you don't you don't know. Because once this person say, "All right, well I've gotten here. You still here." Because I've seen a little bit more. Now that I went up a little bit further. All right, now we gonna work. I'm gonna reach back down to you, and we're gonna get. You see what I'm saying? Because the point is to grow, not to stay stagnant.
Now, I just want to put this in there real quick. All right, who makes more money, McDonald's or Burger King? All right, so all right, but if you were just to throw it off your head, you would say, man, McDonald's be killing Burger King, right? Now, their profit margins are higher, but their marketing margins are higher. You want to know what Burger King marketing strategy is? Find out where McDonald's is going to be going, and we're going to be across that. So basically, yes, they're making more money. They're making more money, but they're spending more money. And our strategy, but where I'm going with this, Chris, is that if we had that mentality that, look, I'm an expert at my craft. See, that's where you go back to that inferior complex. When you know that you are an expert at your craft, listen, what you're able to do with 2,000 members, I'm able to do with 2 members. I'm not trying to say, man, they need to leave his church or they need to leave her church. No, I'm going to build these 2 people up as if I had 2,000, and we're going to, but we get so caught up in what you're doing with your numbers, it's got to happen.
That takes too much energy looking at what everybody else got going on.
But the concept is simple. When I learned how to ride a bike, I didn't learn how to ride a bike because my sister knew how to ride a bike or my cousin knew how to ride a bike. I learned because I wanted to. Regardless of how many times I fell, I knew that if I kept riding, eventually I would balance out. That's what we have to do. We have, like you said, help people identify with their journey. But it's hard for them to identify with their journey if they don't know their identity. So we have to help them appreciate and value the way that God made them. But like I said, that's a whole nother sermon. But I'm just letting you know, I'm with you. I am with you. I'm with you 100%. But like I said, instead of us looking at all the negatives, let's see. Listen, if you took James Brown, all right, and you took who's big at his time? James Brown, Little Richard, may have been big. You know what happened? If James Brown knew that he was going to perform after Little Richard, James Brown said, "Whoo, I got to bring it." You understand what I'm saying? Right. Michael Jackson, Prince. Either what we do is they're using each other's talent as a launching pad. Well, I got to bring it because I know Mike gonna bring it. I got to bring it. Mike said it like this: I have to wake up to write my songs down. Whenever the Lord gives them to me. And they said, "What happened? Why do you have to do that, Mike?" He says, "Because if I don't write them down, He's going to give them to Prince." That's the level. That's the level.
You're right.
That's how we got to think.
We'll go too long here. Let me cut you off here a little bit, and we'll go to our next segment. All right. And I won't get you in. I know you said you had the road, but let me get you in with this right here. Now, so what I'm going to do is pass it to everyone, and I want you to, if you don't mind, give me a personal stereotype. Give me something about, let's say, color. that you feel is a stereotype that you deal with, as well as for your sex. So female, for female, So something about a female if you're a female, something about a male if you're a male, something about person if you want to give a person. Another one is color, racial. Trying you first.
Okay, I would say as a female, I'm often stereotyped that because I may present myself as being a strong woman, and try to appear I have it all together all the time. I think people misinterpret that as I'm bougie or actually do have it together, or I'm not approachable and all that good stuff. But you all know that I am.
Right.
But that's something that I've had to do.
That's your personal.
As a woman.
Yeah. So give me a woman one. So that could be everybody. Yeah. Like something women get stereotyped for. It should be like several.
I guess being weak. Being weak. I can't think of one.
So you're saying you believe women sometimes get stereotyped as being weak? Possibly.
You might get up on somebody.
You're being weak right now. Beat the fifth.
I would say being weak or not being able to accomplish some of the things that men can accomplish.
Okay. All right. And then racial.
Oh, racial. As a woman, or just racial?
Just racial people.
I would say being of a being as an African American person, I guess there's a stereotype that we may not want anything in life or don't have goals.
Don't have goals.
That's it.
All right. Johnny down. Go ahead. Derek.
I'm passing. I'm drawing blank.
Oh, man.
Racially.
We coming back. Keep thinking.
Racially, as a black woman, angry.
Oh, yeah.
You're not angry?
That's angry.
I thought you were angry.
Now,
You're not angry? I'm messing with you. I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
Like,
trying to make her angry on the slide.
Like we're perceived as we're angry, we're naggers, nothing is ever right. You know what I'm saying? Like we're gonna bark and but that's not necessarily the case. Sexually, as a woman we're all promiscuous. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like ultimately the woman chooses anyway. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't care if we choose 15 and the other person chose 2. You better be grateful that your behind got you. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Because the playing field is open. It's just blocked in. Okay, so it's a freaky black girl because her home girl is like that. I can have a home girl that is promiscuous. That doesn't necessarily define me as promiscuous. I can just love her as a person. That doesn't determine the way I conduct myself. Right. You know what I'm saying? You know how they say birds of a feather? It's not always so. So that's my personal experience of stereotypes.
You had angry?
Yeah, black women are perceived as angry.
Black women's angry? Yeah. And then
we all freaks.
Is that your personal one?
Yeah, because because you associate with somebody that may be like that doesn't necessarily mean the whole crew is like that. That's just whatever her issue is that has her like that. That's her thing. Okay. That doesn't make me like that. I just love her as a person. You know what I'm saying? She's somebody outside of what she does sexually. Right. You know what I'm saying?
So kind of like you combine the two for women and being promiscuous.
Well, it's society like white people think that we do that. She's gonna be in Walmart, or she's gonna beating her kids and cussing them out, and like you said, unapproachable, and you know what I mean. We're just aggressive at all times. We're aggressive, and that's not always the case. But we do have fighting spirits. That's just our genetic makeup. We don't have no choice to be fighting. But I mean, if you want to be fought, say the wrong thing, we can go at it. But we're just not like that at all times.
And the sad thing about the aggressive thing is a lot of that they get from our own men calling us aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
Because our men are the ones that actually deal with us and experience us. And if they're telling us, if they're saying, oh, she's aggressive or she has anger management problems, then of course white people are going to buy into that and follow suit.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Tighten up, black men.
Yeah.
You got that to say?
Well, you bounce around.
Okay, what's the first one?
Okay, so with personal, so a personal stereotype that you can get yourself on screen. A personal stereotype that you might deal with. Then something of color, something that say it could be black women or it could be black men. It could be, you don't have to be you. And then it could be about sex. So something women in general that you see as a stereotype that you've heard of.
I can think of a couple of things that I hear about black women. Piggyback off what they said: angry, unapproachable, that we gold diggers, all we want is child support. I get the welfare single mom look all the time. When I go to the store with my kids, and I get food stamps. It is what it is, I ain't ashamed of it. But I get the look, especially from being racist, white people. You know what I'm saying? I get them looks, especially when I have my kids with me. Oh, she playing NBT card.
She has 4 baby daddies.
And I do. So
but that's what I'm saying. It's automatic.
Yeah.
It's automatic.
And I get I can't talk to you. You have an attitude. You stuck up. Because, like Tanya just said, we are so strong. I can speak my personal experience. I've been a single mom. Mm-hmm. My daughter's 13 today. Being a single mom, majority of my kids' life. So yeah, you get to a point where you're independent, you're strong, especially when you're doing everything on your own, by yourself, without the child support. Yeah, you get to that point where you're independent, you're strong. I mean, it's not necessarily you don't want help from anybody, but you know how to goddamn get it on your own. And that's what I've learned to do. So that's my personal, you said sexual? Mm-hmm. Sexual. Me, I like to dress nice when I go out. Just like this. I dress up like this because it's my birthday. Mm-hmm. And my issue I went into with men is, okay, she dressed like that, let me go holler at her. Hey, but it ain't even like that. I'm just trying to look nice today. I'm trying to get to where I'm going, do what I gotta do, get back home. Mm-hmm. So a lot of men see, oh, she got a big butt, she got this, she dressed tight, she went this, that, and the other, and blow the horn. Hey, babe, you need a ride? No, I don't know you. My mama told me never to get in cars with strangers, so I don't know you.
Right.
And that's nothing that bothers me. It's not. Men look, they're visual. You know what I'm saying? I understand that. But there's a line between that and, okay, I'm supposed to holler at her because she dressed a certain way. Mm-hmm. It's an assumption. So, that's something I deal with all the time. And I just, what was the other one? That was it.
You did it. You did color, you saying sex, welfare, attitude, and being strong. You did more than 3, really, but
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's all right.
It's your birthday.
You were strong with your approach.
It's your birthday and your daughter's birthday?
Yeah. She was my gift for my 19th birthday. So she's 13, the big 13 today, and I'm 32/21. But I mean, seriously, it's something that a lot of women deal with, though. So to all my ladies out there, keep your head up, stay strong. God got your back. It will get better. That's my advice. That's why I just tell myself every day. I can't control other people's actions and what they do, but what I can do is control myself, have faith in God, and keep moving.
What do you guys deal with, Michelle?
Well, whenever we go to college, like I did, and you further your education, A lot of times people feel like you're not relatable. And if you're not relatable, you're not relevant. So what are you talking about? You know what I mean? And one of the challenges for me is that I try to infuse what I've learned into my people. You understand what I'm saying? So whether you want it or not, whether you like me or not, I still love you. Whether you want it,
bearing a gift.
So either way, like I've learned how not to take stuff personal, even from our people. You know, as far as being like we talked on a previous show about being square or lame. Like I said, I don't like to get high. I don't drink, but I'm not here to judge you. I'm just here to love on you. You know what I mean? One of the biggest things that I would get is that, oh, so you think you better than me, huh? So you think you better than me? No, I'm trying to be better for you.
That's intimidating.
And basically, but it's a lot of barriers when you look at education, especially coming from a teaching background. As an educator, I was taught how to teach people. I just wasn't taught how to teach mine.
Right.
So that was something that I had to adjust, and then I had to work on my personal inferior complex because I always felt like, man, I need this job, I can't get fired. I need this job, I can't get fired. And then I'm going home and I'm stressed out because we're dealing with generations where now we're past the industrial age. You understand what I'm saying? We're in the information age, or we're dealing with the specialty age where you got to have some type of special talent, gifting, or something, or trade, something in that nature. And so if I'm making good money, man, I can't tell this person, man, I don't agree with them. So I'm suppressing my ideas, suppressing my intellect. And then once I started to disagree, well, why are you so angry? And then and I said, listen, I just don't think that this is the best way to do this. And I'm talking very calm, like I am now. I don't think this is the best way to do this. And no, I don't understand why you're so angry. Why are you so upset? Like it's like a psychological game to get me to do an abrupt behavior. You understand what I'm saying? And then it's the same. but then, like I said, even with our black women in leadership positions, I have worked with some great black women. However, they're not used to black men being solid. When I mean solid, I mean being sound as far as business decisions and being sound pertaining to insight and application. Right. So there's a lot of rebuttals. Well, you just need to do what I told you to do. I have to re-educate our some of our women that, listen, I understand you're used to talking to boys, but I'm a grown man. Right. You know what I mean? Like
a power play.
Yeah, but like I said, our society, when it comes to black men, we have demonized them. Granted, I'm not saying everybody has their own hiccups, but we have been demonized. We're womanizers. All we're trying to do is get this, get that. We're trying to live off of the women. If we can't live off the women, we're trying to live off the system. And what happens is that that it is very challenging because this society, you got to understand that when you go back to slavery, like I always go to the point of reference. When you go to slavery, Big Mama was like the mayor of the black people. You understand what I'm saying? She's the one that kept Kunta Kinte on the plantation. Look, baby, I know you got that warrior in you, but we need you on this plantation. Right. You understand what I'm saying? I know you don't like what they're doing to us, but just be quiet, baby. It's gonna be all right. It's gonna be all right. So when it comes to logical rebuttals, a lot of times it can be deceived as anger and frustration just because you don't agree. And we have been, and like I said, there's a lot of things, like I said, we've been suppressing our emotions when it comes to the law. I used to say, man, I'm always getting pulled over by white cops. But then, living on the north side, I'm getting pulled over by black cops. And then, but then you still not telling me what you pulling me over for. And you're saying that we're doing random checks. Like, what are you talking about, man? Like we so basically, like there's so many places that we have advanced, and there's so many places that we need so much improvement.
Okay, you kind of like you on the personal one there, are you also putting in there the color one too?
Yeah, well, put it like this. It's called. Listen,
Again.
I'm a BMW.
I gotta go in. Now he be out there. He be out there. I gotta bring him back.
Listen,
I
drive a BMW. I drive a BMW.
Come on now.
Y'all know what BMW stand for, right? Black what? Black man working. That's why I drive a BMW. Not only do I drive a BMW, I get DWBs, which is driving while black. So I got a DWB and a BMW. So
okay.
hashtag make the hood great again. Hashtag you can get it too.
But what we want to know is where the generator at, Nashawn?
What's that? Where the generator?
Where the generator?
Yeah.
Nashawn know what the generator is.
Yeah, I know exactly where they at. They at the stove. They at the stove.
All right. Tara, you ready now? A personal stereotype.
I think this one was kind of blanket, personal, men, women. But I think that there's a stereotype that if you're not a laughing and kiki and, as white people say, putting on black face for the entertainment type of person, then they perceive you as being angry or unapproachable. The expectation of them is for you to put on that black face, and a lot of black people have adapted that.
You're rebellious.
They've adapted that
like
mentality, and so in order to fit in, a lot of them do that.
God, dog, Tara, she kind of just kind of stirred up something. I don't want to prolong the time. However, I would like to elaborate on that. Like whenever I'll do a job, I like to do it in the spirit of excellence. So when I'm working and my coworkers call me in the office and say, "Listen, man, you need to tone it down. You're gonna make this hard for all of us." I'm like, "What are you talking about, man? If you keep showing that you can do this, they're gonna be expecting this out of all of us." What are you talking about? See now it's like reverse racism.
You be getting the coon talk.
Yeah, like listen, I'm doing this because this is my character. My character and my nature is to do my best.
I'm here to do a job, not to entertain and make you laugh.
Yeah, like I said, we do that. That's just a bonus. Like I said, I mean this is like I said, I don't care if I'm talking to one child or if I'm talking to 100. I use the same passion, same energy. I don't care. Like if I didn't want this job, I shouldn't have signed up for it. And that's how I look at a lot. But like what you're saying, like I've had our people pull me aside and like, listen, you keep this up, you gonna make this hard for all of us.
They understand.
Right.
A piece of freedom. That's why.
Hey,
you
slow
put
down.
under a microscope now.
Don't do all that. Yeah.
They're
gonna
listen,
they're gonna expect you to do that.
I had a manager, a black manager, right? I'm not gonna say whether it was a male or female, but what I will say this is that my performance was so great, right? What they did was I had to develop my own leads after my performance peaked that particular location. So their way of humbling me was to take me out of rotation. So
raise the bar for you.
Yeah. So when you look at the bank of leads, I tripled everyone on the team, and I still was able to meet and exceed expectations. But their way of humbling me to get me to slow down, because I'm saying to myself, if like there's bonuses attached to this. I'm not trying to step on anybody's territory. I'm not calling your leads. Like everybody's due X amount of leads. I'm not getting them. Oh, nobody's getting them. You're lying. Like it. Well, you take the book from us in the front, so now we can't see the leads that come in. But like this, it's so many games that are being played because we don't know how to handle your excellence or her excellence or her excellence or his excellence. Like it goes right back to that slave mentality.
Right. Lots of people, oh, you're so serious. Why aren't you smiling? Well, because I smile when it's appropriate. If something's funny. Or I smile when I smile. I'm not walking around like a Cheshire cat.
Oh, that's a creepy smile.
I'm not doing it. That's not real. That's fake.
She crazy.
Yeah.
That's what I get. Well, what? Smile, baby. Everything gonna be all right.
Say something funny and I will.
I'm fine.
But what? Okay, so what would be one with like black people in general stereotype?
That was it.
You got so that was kind of all that.
She said she wanted a blanket in.
You want a blanket in there?
Mm-hmm.
All right. And so mine, if I go here, I think personal one is kind of uppity. One being from experience in the management world, you know, it's kind of like what Nishan said. He was like, "You doing too much work. You're trying to overdo it." You know, as far as hiring people, firing people. I got a bad name for kind of like getting rid of people at one time. Because I felt like the person wasn't doing their job. I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and cut.
They see you as a yes man.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, he's up at it. He doesn't play at workplace. He's not in the break room, or he's not smoke deck, or I'm just having those kind of conversations. Or he's always working, or this, that, and third, or he's not always coming up with jokes or whatever. But I'm a jokey person, as you can see. Anytime I get a chance, I'll do that. I think on the sex one is kind of like just kind of black too, kind of like fathers. I think a lot of it, the stereotype is that we're not good fathers.
We've been demonized.
They demonize. They kind of,
he don't take care of his kids.
If you're not with the person you had your kids with, that's kind of automatically a bad thing. Mm-hmm. And automatically the kids are in a broken home. Yeah. But you could, even though you're not with the person, you can still make sure they're not feeling of a broken home. Make sure they're taken care of. And when I hear broken home, they're basically saying it's supposed to be a particular way. Mm-hmm. But what makes that the ultimate way that it has to be? You can still take care of your kids where they don't need for much. I mean, they're going to always need something that you might not be able to provide, but at least you're not not giving them anything at all.
You're doing.
Yeah, you're doing. And so you're helping them so they get the experience of having both parents. Mm-hmm. If it's a PTA meeting, both parents are there. If it's some kind of trouble situation in school, I'm there. Mm-hmm. So we kind of get that, oh man, we're bad fathers sometimes. And you could be good.
I think it's more of a misconception than a stereotype. Mm-hmm. But what's the next topic before I say what I'm about?
Okay. It's workplace. We're going to do workplace in a minute. Okay.
Because I'm just going off what you just said and what he was saying. Because you're black men and I want to ask you guys why you did.
Okay. Well, hold on. My last one is just like being lazy workers. Like I feel like they think black people are lazy. And or not hard workers. Not hard workers. She said a lot of people. She said a lot of black people are lazy.
I did not say that.
Yes, she did.
I said a lot of them are. See, because when you work strenuously, when you're doing an adequate job, i.e., what you both said, now you're a yes man. You putting the light on us. We under the microscope. I want to sit over here talking on my phone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
now I got to perform.
Somebody, I can't remember who it is, but somebody famous said that he would hire a lazy person over somebody that's not lazy because a lazy person is going to find the best, quickest, easiest way to get a job done. He said he would always hire one.
All right. Well, like I said, I don't want to jump in. Right. Are you still talking about that? Are you still talking? Yeah. Now, all right. Like there's pros and cons to everything. Like I said, I've been reading the book, the 48 Laws of Power. And like I said, you're supposed to do a job, no matter how tough it is, as if it was effortless. So if you're effective, it can be perceived as lazy. Mm-hmm. But like she said, it's more of a misconception when it comes to fathers out of the home, whatever. Because y'all don't cohabitate does not mean that you don't co-parent.
Let me ask you something on that too. Because white people have been getting divorces long before black people could afford to get divorces.
Man, King Henry. Sorry, this is
on
church.
So why aren't their men perceived? Why aren't their men perceived the same way as our men are perceived when there's a divorce or a separation of home?
Because it's a white man's world.
I think they do the custody thing too. I mean, we do the custody now, but I think that maybe came back from when they weren't. They're like, my dad didn't do custody stuff at all. He was like, I went to my grandmother's house, and I think that's the whole big mama thing. He was at big mama's house and all that. And I happened to see my dad. He might have came to visit, and be like, hey, I saw my dad today, something like that, but it wasn't the visitation thing. They were, I think, better at that.
She was a happy medium, yep.
Yeah. Because like I said, same thing with me when I was a young boy. My biological father was in prison. I would go to his mother's house to find out about my father. She would teach me about my father. My mother never took me to see my father in jail or prison. My grandmother always took me to see my father in jail and prison. She made sure that I didn't lack for anything. Granted, my father didn't pay any child support. He wouldn't be able to in prison anyways. But make a short story shorter, but we all have to suffer the consequences of a system that was already stacked against us before we even got here. But pertaining to white men, when I say it's their world, like I said, they are the dominant culture in this country. Okay?
Because of finance.
Yeah, they are the dominant culture, and they control the lands. They control the government. They control the commerce. When you they control the military forces. When you control so many key elements as far as the land, the commerce, the economics, the foreign trade, the taxes, how in the world does a minority in the continent of Africa control the majority of 90% of Africa when your people make up less than 10% of the total African continent population? But so like I said, when you're controlling all those resources, you can write the rules and
nigga the Nancy, they got guns.
That's what I said too. That's why I said that about military. I said that about military.
They got guns.
To point out that,
that what happened.
They're doing the same thing that black people are doing, but for some reason, there's something that the black men are doing that's getting them that stereotype versus white men. White men aren't getting it. They getting divorced. You got white men that don't take care of the kids too. But
Steve Jobs. I mean, like I said, one of the wealthiest men in America ever, paying $200 a month in child support. But what I'm getting, but like I said, it's just not polarized. We are an easy target. We are vulnerable people, and we have to continue to build each other up. And if we see areas that we lack in, we can always substitute. But anyway, like I said, there's a lot of things. I go back to mate selection. If a lot of us would not have children if we were coached on the process of finding a mate. And if we had better...
That's because a lot of them are looking for what they're lacking.
Well, like I said, I'm not telling you what you're lacking, or what I'm not.
Say
all I'm saying, but if we were better coached on the mate selection process, like, listen, keep in mind, if we keep doing this, somebody's gonna get pregnant. You know what I mean? It's like this stuff is real. It's going to happen. It's a part of nature. And I was listening to Napoleon Hill. And Napoleon Hill is one of the wealthiest men in America. Mm-hmm. Well, white guy. What he said is that he had a secretary that was over effective and efficient. And instead of being afraid that he was going to lose her, he married her. He married his help. Mm-hmm. Henry Ford, the guy.
Sean, that's decisions. That's decisions. I don't think that's coaching. I think that's a cop out because there are a lot of men that glorify and use, well, I'm a man. That's what men do. Men womanize. That's what we do. And they think it's cool. And it's a decision. It's not, you can't say, if you coach them, they're not going to do that. It's about the decisions that they make. They have to make that decision for themselves.
I just said the mate process.
We're talking about the mate process.
All right.
But hold on. But see, the thing about, okay, so let's just say, it's like you got to have your man and you have your woman in order to have a particular type of DNA for this particular. So your characteristics, evidently, do you believe that there's any kind of divine intervention that says you got to come from your dad? Like, do you think you would be the same if you came from somebody else? Like, if you had another dad, I'm saying, you had another dad.
Like I said,
you think you would be the same person?
No, I wouldn't be the same person.
So,
I would not be the same person.
That's divine intervention.
Well, like I said, we know. All right. Now this
don't tell me now.
This is where now I believe that God gives us
choice, like or decision to be able to choose
Right.
who we would like to marry. And in some cultures, they have more than one wife. But we can't bring that stuff to America unless you're Mormon.
So if we're teaching our daughters,
I think when he said, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think when he's saying teaching our people or our kids, I'm going to say, how to find mates, to me that means, like, I know what I went through growing up. I know what I went through in my decision making with choosing boyfriends and baby daddy and all that other kind of stuff. And I took what I went through and I taught my daughter better. And so I don't foresee her making some of the same mistakes that I made, because I've taught her how to choose a guy and what's a good guy and all that good stuff. So I think that's what you mean.
Correct. I had a coworker, and I'm not trying to use color as a barrier, but the way that she was taught, she told me she would not get married to a guy if his parents were not still married. If his parents, not stepmom, stepdad, but if his biological parents were still married and together, then she knew she could marry that guy. If not, they were just going to be dating.
And I agree with what you're
But
saying, and I agree with what Tony said, because I'm coaching my daughter. But if I'm coaching my daughter and the young men of the world are not being coached to find a mate, if they're being taught to have threesomes and womanize, if all of them being taught the music, their uncles, their brothers, their fathers, all of them are doing that. So it's like oil and water.
But if you do your part with your daughter, as I'm doing with my daughter, she will weed out a lot of those men that you just said.
Right, and I agree.
Well,
I agree, but it shouldn't be, the responsibility shouldn't be only on her to weed out.
Right, we can't, but we can put in, our job is the fundamentals,
Right.
which is what you're talking about. That's our job. But we cannot void out experience, trial and error. We can't. It don't matter what, they may see the signs, but in the weeding process, that's, you know what I'm saying, it's something different. Because exactly, because we can't be with them step by step. We can't.
And I can't train the rest.
We would hope that she marry the man that you say.
And I know what I'm training her. She's still gonna have the the seed of all the bad men or whatever. But what I'm putting in her will at least weed out some of that. She's still gonna choose the wrong one, but it's better in her chances. And it's kind of the same thought process when it comes to the whole stereotype thing too, especially with women. You have stereotypes, which unfortunately we do, and it's unfortunate people judge us based on first impressions and looks, but that's life and that's just what it is. So to me stereotypes, to knock out stereotypes is you start with yourself.
Right.
With yourself. If I don't want someone to stereotype me based on a certain way I look, I'm going to present myself a certain way. If I want you to stereotype me as being a strong woman, and if I want you to look at me and know right off you can't come to me with outside of your neck or whatever, I'm going to present myself as such. If I'm in a room where I don't have an MBA, I don't have all these letters behind my name or whatever, but if you put me in a room full of people that do have that, you're not going to know the difference, because I'm going to be able to float with the rest of them.
Right.
So I think you have to present yourself as you want to be seen. And break the stereotype.
You're gonna put on the black face on this
Listen, I want to make my exit. If you want to sign in, listen, I want y'all to know I love y'all. This is it.
Yeah, right there.
That love.
Wait a minute, he gave me that Illuminati signs, y'all. I don't know if y'all saw that sign he gave.
Yeah. Come on, I love him.
That was, you can get it too, man.
Yeah, POP. Hold it down.
He got his own sign and everything. Appreciate you, brother.
Ooh, you left with
Hashtag say the truth. Hashtag get candid. Hashtag make the hood great.
Where you going, man? Where you going?
Work tomorrow.
I gotta teach kids in the morning, man.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, see,
your school open?
I'm private school.
Oh, his school open.
Yeah.
And he played hooky today, so I'm like, you better be here early tomorrow.
Yeah, my boss called me today and said, you coming to work? I said, no.
Oh, they went to school.
Yeah, they went to school today. She said, well, why didn't you show up today? I said, because we don't do all
Right.
It went back to Monday.
Okay. All right. Well, he missed. He left on the workplace. He must have wanted to. He didn't want to be seen saying the wrong thing. All right. So we use this next segment. A good topic. Good conversation that we got going on here. We're gonna use this next one for the workplace. So basically, we're gonna think about some of the craziest things you've seen at work, and some of the things you deal with at work or have dealt with at workplace that you did not want to deal with, but you dealt with it anyway, or some things you did to no longer deal with those things. So it might be touchy or untouchy, but just think about workplace drama right quick. Who's up first?
Well, I work. It's been a while since I've been in like the workforce. Because after the workforce, I was a stay-at-home for a while, and then I went into business for myself. But I worked a job where nobody could be sober. Like,
wait a minute. Native Nan said, say it again.
Nobody was sober. The boss man was selling reefer. Everybody on lunch break. Everybody popping pills, drinking, getting high, all that. Then everybody get back because it's a call center.
I was about to say, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's a call center. So
yeah, I was gonna say that.
And I was like, how do you guys do this?
There's so many people at call centers that got like problems and issues and like, I can't deal with these customers.
I understand that.
So I need a happy
just
pill.
sitting in the environment and you're not the one to do that. You know what I'm saying? That's just like I see weird people. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. It's crazy, man. Like, and as far as now, difficult to deal with is because my line of work is different than a lot of people's. You know what I'm saying? And having like a nurturing and helping nature. Mm-hmm. You know, you have people who come to you and they want your services or they want the help, but then when they really see the work that they gotta put in to get their mind right, get their emotions right, and deal with their stuff, their hurts and all of that, and reconnect with the emotions and stuff, it's too much. So then they start, you know, with the I can't make it. You know, they don't call it, they're not doing their side. It's a waste of time, you know what I'm saying? But you really want to help it because you know what the end result is going to be. You know what I'm saying? And you have to deal with it because you already have your regular life. You know what I'm saying? A wife, a mother, daughter, you know, sister, you know, you have all of that, mentor, and then you have to, then you already have people's situations, they demons per se, and all of that other stuff, and it has to be confidential. You know what I'm saying? And you have all of that, but you really want to help them. You know what I'm saying? And I think people need to really understand that when you go to somebody for a service, I don't care what the service is. Like, they come to you guys for pictures and t-shirts or, you know, pageantry or, you know, catering or whatever. They need to understand that they need to expect a result. And it needs to be an efficient result. You see what I'm saying? I'm not going to give you anything that you may not want. You may not really know I can cook this good. You know what I'm saying? You see some pictures, they look good, but like, dang, this girl can burn. You know what I'm saying? And I know if I serve it at my party, people will be like, who made it? But I want them to think I made it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you really want this service and you want to put your time in and you put your money in it, you really need to want it. Right. Despite all of the other stuff. Those are the things that I don't like to deal with. I don't like to deal with the today I do, but I didn't know it was gonna be this good, this harder, so I don't want it today. You know what I'm saying? Because then you got to re-register everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's my experience.
Who Nick?
I say for me, oh Lord, most I deal with is childish little petty stuff. This person worrying about the other person going, gossip, who dating who working harder than who ain't working at all. I done seen the fights. You messing with my man, don't be talking to my girl. That's mostly what I've dealt with. And that's why I stay to myself. I try my heart, and that's why I say it's a bit misconception about when she stuck up. Nah, I don't do it young. You know, that's mostly what I've dealt with. And what was that question?
Yeah, just anything in the past or anything current.
That's most of my job. That's pretty much what I've dealt with. Just not even anything big. The biggest thing I've dealt with is probably I've done a lot of warehouse work. And for those that are familiar with that, you do production. And they will put that pressure on me. My last job, I worked at Sandmars on New Kings Road. I don't know if y'all ever heard of it. But they only about production. They will fire you if you don't meet your production without warning. They will call overtime at the last minute without warning. Some people
You gotta work.
We gotta work. And then they make it mandatory and they're like, oh well, we didn't know we had all these orders. Yes, y'all did. Yes, y'all did. Y'all ain't fooling.
That's just like when they know they gonna fire you and they let you work the whole day all day.
Yep.
And then they fire you.
And then the way they do it, they walk you out the door. They put on the show for it. They walk you out the door for everybody to see. So I mean,
The security.
yeah, and it's just like
I made that up. Yeah, I made that security.
Make sure you don't come on the show or tell none of that stuff. But it's like what my man was just saying. You know what I'm saying? You go home, you're stressed out, especially with me and my kids. You're stressed out. You snapping on everybody. It ain't a good look. You know, and then on top of that, you're dealing with people. I don't like so they did this to me. I ain't like the way she talked to me. I don't care if she's my supervisor. I'm gonna go say something. Then they walk you right out the door. It's a lot of pettiness, and you think you're working with adults, but
they body just adults.
they body just it's the mentality, and when they say age or number, the number that I believe that I really do, because some people do not act their age; they act their shoe size. They act like a child. That's mostly what I deal with.
Another thing I deal with is I have dealt with is leaders being put in leadership roles that aren't true leaders. I'm an independent thinker, so I chose a career path that required me to do independent decision making. And I found that, you know, while a lot of the different leadership that I've had throughout the years, everybody that has been a manager wasn't really qualified to be a manager. They were a manager because they've been there for 20 years and they were consistent, not because they had the people skills or the soft skills to properly manage a person. I had a manager tell me one day, based off of an email that I wrote to a general manager, and I CC'd the manager so that it was clear what I said. She came back and she sent an email the next day and said, I'm not sure, you know, if you're aware how the org works here, and I don't know if you know that the GMs are just as much your boss as I am. And the first email that I drafted back to her was, last time I checked, your signature said manager. It didn't say boss.
Right.
But I deleted it. I didn't send it to her. But that's just a testament of her lack of leadership. Because if you're a true manager or a true boss, you don't say that. You know how to say that.
Right.
So that's my thing with workplaces, leaders and those roles that really
belong I with myself, when I did work in work in corporate America or whatever. For me, of course, I've probably done every type of work there is, customer service. I did the mortgage stuff before. But I was one that moved around a lot. Didn't stay on jobs for a long time. The other stuff like the drama amongst employees and stuff, that never really bothered me because, like I said, I've always been one to kind of stay to myself. I'll look up and it'll just be entertainment for me. I laugh sometimes. I've never, I've just have never been settled on any type of job. It was at one point it was like the joke within my family that I don't want to work, and that wasn't the case. But at sometimes, I started to think I didn't want to work either. So I mean, it took me almost, till I turned 40 to realize I just wasn't in my element and it wasn't my thing. And that's what pushed me off, and unfortunately got me to start doing my own thing. And it has stuff that comes with it too, but I love it enough to where it's all worth it.
And that's what they say. If it's not your passion, you're not gonna stay in it anymore. You're not gonna stay in it anymore.
Yeah, it got to be something that you love doing.
Yeah.
At least the amount of work you put into it and your passion, that's what you need to be.
Yeah, I
believe that.
I definitely have had some experiences there with like one crazy thing is somebody passed away. Have you ever dealt with seeing someone have a heart attack, and pass away?
Right before you had?
Yeah, like right in front of your eyes, and they just went. They worked in the call center, and then all of a sudden they just kind of fell down, and people were trying to fan them and all this kind of stuff like that, and so it looked like they were okay for a second. And next thing you know, they passed away, and it was like, go over here and go over there, and they had the grief counselors and all this kind of stuff, like you were in school or something. But it was weird. It was like, I was like, dang, the person just passed away, and they're gone right there. The ambulance come in, and the rescue workers come in, and they try to revive them a little bit, and and then they couldn't. They just, that was it. Just passed away. So that was definitely weird. I saw someone get punched at workplace, where it was like a money incentive thing, where they felt like the paycheck wasn't right, and it was always, the paycheck was different every month. And it was like one of the craziest things that he went and actually punched the supervisor, decked him, it's like knocked him out type thing. And it's like, oh my goodness. And, it's like, he's trying to still work. He's like, well, he lost his job today, didn't he?
Right. So
you see that, and you deal with that harassment. Kind of like seeing other people intermingle and commingle and stuff like that. And this is call center stuff. A lot of this I'm talking about call center stuff. But when I got to be a manager and then a manager's manager, I was kind of put in a situation where, it's like you have these angels, I always say God talks to you, and they say, don't do this and don't do that. And everybody has temptations of whether you want to do something or not, but you always get that voice say, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. And it was something just told me this, just as a manager, stay true to that. No matter, what you think you want to say or what you want to do, just stick to that, And it was, if you see other managers just co-mingling, they have somebody on their team and they're dating, and so you had a way to say it's okay. And sometimes that is, I always say the devil kind of giving you an example of, hey, do it too, But I was one of the, like I say, the uppity ones, and I'm like, I'm not gonna do it. And I stuck to that, and it's almost like you say, you're square, or you're lame, or you ain't doing what everybody, this is call center, have fun type thing, and you go out to gym place back in the days, all that kind of stuff going on, and just everybody just mingling, And I'm just straight up and down, of course, and so I ended up getting, I didn't get married and all that, to kind of get rid of all that temptation. That's one of the reasons why I got married, because I didn't want to be dealing with that. But still, even though when you're married, people still do what they do, whatever the case may be. And it was an experience where I knew not to do subordinate. I was like, nope. Because I had heard she had already did a harassment for somebody else. So I was make sure I'd be up and up with her, write everything down, all that kind of stuff like that. And she still tried to take me and say, he harassed me. And I was like, if it was anything that I just kind of messed around and said anything, she'd try to keep all it. Luckily enough, I just didn't do anything.
Right.
And I documented stuff, any type of one-on-one conversations, and it had to go through the whole rigmarole. Everything come out clean. I was like so thankful that I listened to the voice, and I always pay attention to that voice.
Right.
Be straight, be good,
You gotta
whatever.
cover yourself.
You gotta do
You
that.
don't know
So
how
yeah,
folks are outside of that. You know what I'm saying? You just know their name, and that's your coworker, you know, your employee. That's all you know.
mm-hmm.
But once people start operating and getting in a sense of comfort, that ain't shame. You know what I'm saying? But you still got a protocol to follow. So, but and then you have to have common sense and all of that. You know, that stuff still start coming into play. It's crazy in that workplace. I know that's not for me. I'm not the take direction type. I know military ain't for me. I know
They your boss.
no, baby.
Let me tell you something. I was in the military. Let me tell you something. I was in the military. I was in for a rude awakening. I seen all the movies too. That's what's bad about it. It's like you see all the movies about how bad it is to be in the military. Well, my uncle went in, and I went in anyway. And the basic training was absolutely the craziest time. And I used to wear glasses. I would tell the story. And I'd be like, my glasses were thick, but they were like, you know, Ron DMC, like the Gazelles. So I done got the fancy glasses and everything. And I show up to the military, and it's like, those are not military issue. Those are not military issue. You cannot wear them. I said, look, man, I can't see. They're like, you can't wear them. And they took my glasses, and they said they ordered me some glasses, and it took about 5 weeks before my glasses came.
So you were in the military?
Yes.
Oh, I know.
And I was in the military. It was like four to 5 weeks, and I couldn't see nothing. And I'm like, when are the glasses gonna get there? And then, you know, like say, fall in line. I'm falling in the wrong formations because I don't know what people look like. But I can't see. And the craziest thing, they wanted me to qualify the rifle range. And I
That
was
was
talking about.
setup. That was setup.
Yeah.
What now?
Qualifying the rifle range.
Rifle range.
So-
You can't aim.
So I said, I can't see. And they put somebody in there with him, help him out. You know, I said, that ain't gonna help me, I can't see. You trying to tell me what to aim and everything, and I failed. I was supposed to go to Hawaii and everything, and I ended up missing going to Hawaii because I couldn't pass the doggone rifle.
It wasn't for you. Thank you, Lord.
Yeah.
It wasn't for you.
Yeah, but yeah, workplace is something that anybody got anything else? Only workplace.
I enjoy it. I know I got some topics. I was listening to some stuff and I wanted to say some
Go ahead.
stuff, but it was a little thrown off and I couldn't. It didn't fit. So I'm like,
Yeah, this is your time.
Stop.
Yeah, anything. Go ahead.
But no, I mean, what I want to ask you was, you know, you had some more testosterone with you.
Yeah.
Know? But you were talking about, you know, the child support thing, co-parenting, and this, that, and the other. My question to you men is, our men, our brothers, why, I know why, this is what I hear. Why is it so difficult for you guys to say you need help? That you're stressed, that you're depressed? Why is that? Because we get the backlash of you not being able to say it.
Oh, so you're not talking like child support stuff. You're just saying in
No,
general.
we're just in general.
Why are we so supposedly they got to be so tough?
Yeah.
Right. Well,
Who told you that?
mothers.
Why don't you seek help for it?
Mothers. I'll say from my standpoint.
That's a cuss word.
Someone was
Oh,
saying they
not
just won't
that-
get help for it.
Yeah.
So like, what?
Yeah, it's like you say, mothers. I believe mothers in this society, man, you got to be tough. You know, I think everybody tells us to be tough and not weak, and that's a sign of weakness.
Your fathers too.
Yeah, fathers, uncles, you know, all that kind of stuff like that. So it's like, you know, be tough. You got to be tough, and you got to always.
Not only that, not only are they raised to feel like they have to be tough like that, we as women also make them feel like they have to be as well. I mean, not you or me necessarily, but I mean, some women make them feel like they have to be like that. And they feel like they can't show any side of softness at all.
I mean, we are. That's how we're built. Like that's one thing that I talk to a lot of guys about. Like especially black men. It's a man thing, but my biggest concern is our men. You know what I'm saying? We are just built off of emotion. That's why they have names.
Yeah.
That's why we feel them.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? It is virtually impossible for you to not be vulnerable. It's virtually impossible for you to not have a time when you just want to cry or have cried, but you just ain't show nobody.
Right.
It's just, we feel the same. The circumstances are just different.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? I want to know who told you that you can't. You see what I'm saying? Because when we talk about mamas, and I mean, I'm just going to attach what you said. Mm-hmm. You say, mama told you that, and then daddy not being there. Okay, if we going to do that, that means mama trying to make you the man she wants for her, not the man that you need to be for somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time, not necessarily the man for her, but also.
Yeah, because if she's single, then that means that she had expectations and she was disappointed. So whatever she felt like you said, we put it on them to say, okay, you should be our protector, you should be our provider, you should be this, you should be that. You see what I'm saying? So it's a lot of stigma on the man.
And also making them feel like based on what they have to deal with in society, that they have to be that way in order to hold strong and maintain with everything society though.
Right, but I'm not society.
Okay, well listen.
You're not society. You see what I'm saying? Because if a man, because again, you know, we choose the man. Mm-hmm. We do. So we got to own ourselves at some point. Yeah. We do choose the man. But the way the man represents himself, like you guys, men, you guys, okay.
Let me get in.
That means you can express yourself. If you feel like, okay, this my man, this my chick, this my wife, that means you're able. You feel like you're able to express that. That you don't show society, that you don't show the world. So why not let us be what we supposed to be to?
Let
us be that.
Let me get in now.
Women don't know how to.
Well, see this thing. You see it with babies, right? Babies, we start the same. We start crying and everything. Everything we go wrong with us, we crying and da-da-da. Sometimes I would say if the mother, and I don't want to go only mother and all that kind of stuff right now. I'm just saying in general.
Right.
But some say, okay, let's go ahead and let me care for my son. Some women, baby, they nurture him. There's no problem. They get a little older. It's like, okay, all right now, with all that crying, you know what I mean? Now you pump. Don't be funny, because we are trying to make sure. And I don't want to talk about any type of community or anything, but we're trying to make sure that we send them on the right path.
Right.
And on that right path, it's about being strong.
Right.
So I'm teaching you to make the right choice in that nature, because everybody can say it's okay. But if you got a choice, you choose for your son to be straight. You know what I mean? Honestly. So they teaching them to be tough right from the get-go. Be tough. Don't complain. So don't express yourself. Take it. Like you might get hit in a football game and you really want to cry, which will lead you to be able to express yourself on other natures. But they're telling you don't cry, don't tell us you're hurt, tough it up, suck it in,
There's no crying in football.
There's no crying in football. So it's just because they're trying to get you to be straight.
So
they cut off that communication.
Or whoever.
It's guys, especially if I'm a dad. I'm making sure.
How to make that balance, I guess.
Exactly.
Like say my brother, I know it's my brother, we're like 2 years apart. He's straight, he's a man, ain't no funny or anything like that, so he's strong, but we also have a very, my family is very emotional, we hug, we kiss, we say I love you, so he has that too. So he's affectionate, but he's also strong, so it's just a matter of
exactly. But that's what I'm saying.
That has to be taught, though. That has to be taught. He came from a family that they did that. If you did not, if they said, we're not going to talk at all.
Yeah.
But the question still is, why is it so difficult for you to just say that? Because if you have us here as a wife, a significant other, as a spouse, a baby, whatever our title is in your life,
that's selection.
Why is it so hard for you to say, baby, I'm tired today. You know what I'm saying?
If he was,
because we see it.
If he was not in general, but
Mm-hmm.
if he was taught to not do that, and that doing that means he's soft or whatever, that's what he was taught, and that's all he knows. So it's up to Tara to take him and take him up under her wings and kind of nurture him and show him different.
Some of them, but he has to be receptive to that. And if he's
Right,
never been
right.
taught
It still
that,
may not
I can be as
happen, but I
nurturing
mean,
as I want.
And if that don't work, then he just hard.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. But it ain't like it don't exist. It ain't like you don't know that, you know, when y'all lay down tonight, you had a bad day. We both know you had a bad day. You ain't verbalize it, but we in the bed. I'm turned this way, you turn this way, and you shedding a tear without sniffling. You know what I'm saying? It's still there. It's still there. So that's all.
But he can't show you that because, you know, like say, always say, hey, you don't want nobody who cries or nobody who's weak. You know, they trying to hold on to you too. So
I'm not gonna tell my husband, oh, you crying? Oh no, your ass got to go. I'm not gonna say that.
You say that now.
I'm not.
You say that now. If you get she always takes so much. You don't take so much now. It's
not
enough to
now,
enough.
Now you not gonna be mad that my bosom crying more than the babies. That's a difference.
That might be what it
That's
needs.
a difference. That's
that
a
might
difference.
be what it needs.
But I do expect for you to say at some point in time,
you might
baby,
need that.
I'm tired today. And let me be who you need me to be for you. You know what I'm saying? Because that's why you with me. We counteract. We're not just here to lay up. You see what I'm saying? Because then it boils down to, okay, well, what is your definition of a man or a husband? Because it's more than your extension.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I could call a dog a man if that's what we gon'. You see what I'm saying? We gonna say it because the penis don't define that. So I mean, once you really think about it, even despite whether you've been taught or not, you had to within your psyche sit and say, okay, I messed up here. I should have did this. Okay, what do I need to do? What should I do? I should have done. You see what I'm saying? You asked yourself that question. You asked yourself that question. But this is not the business mind. It's not the coaching mind. I'm just saying this off a personal mind right now. If you have a home, and I'm gonna say children, family, spouse. If you have a home, you know that there's things that you need to do, i.e., be strong, go do it, this and that and the other. But you gotta understand that you can't do it all. What is she there for?
Right.
Because you can buy, excuse me, camera, you can buy pussy anywhere. You paying them to leave.
Right.
But you want her to stay. You see what I'm saying? But you want her to stay. Why do you want her to stay? Let her help you. But she can't help you if you're not verbalizing that today I can't do it.
Well, but that's still a sign of weakness, right?
No.
If he says that. If he says he can't
That's
do
a sign of humanism. You're just a human. Because you built like that. You ain't structured no different than me.
Because to me, it's stronger for a man to be able to verbalize his weakness.
Exactly. Because we just stuck asking questions. You know what I'm saying? Baby, you all right?
And
I'm all right. I'm getting mad and so.
Yeah, silent about it.
You see what I'm saying? And so we sitting up there trying to nitpick because we want to be there for you because we nurturing creatures. You know what I'm saying? And we chose you, we love you. You know what I'm saying? But then, I'm all right. And then you turn around and you bug it back. You know what I'm saying? What does that mean?
Man, listen, but we come from the jokesters. You know, we come from people telling jokes and people ranking on us. A sign of weakness is a sign for somebody to talk about you. So we all from guys do that to each other. Guys do that to each other. Like locker room talk is serious. And we basically, any weakness, we tell jokes on that and all that kind of stuff. So a lot of people get quiet and so it comes from multiple places. So they learn from that, and then by the time they get married or find a woman, they did all that, and their mother, father kind of got them that way. So it's just, be quiet, don't say nothing. And if I say this, and you so happen to bring it up accidentally or You know, and I like to say the grenade way. You didn't even know you was touching on that, and it was something that we really didn't want you to touch on. It's like we gave it to you, and to us, that's worse. So if I say I need help, and then next thing you say, you know, you struggling on your job, or you just that and the third, or you ain't got what such and such got, or what Henry got, or whatever, then it's like if the person leave you because of that struggle, that's worse. And that's when you have guys who want to kill themselves and all that kind of things. If you leave because you just don't like me or whatever, that's okay. If I give you something, that's the reason why you leave. You know, it might be lights out for some guys. Seriously.
So that's why y'all cut up so bad when we cheat.
Yeah, that's why it's more so what he feels like he did,
right?
Because we feel like you wouldn't. We absolutely feel like you wouldn't do that if it wasn't something we did.
Right.
So we gave you that ammunition and you did it. So it's like an internal, like damnation. Like man, I'm gonna hurt myself based on something like that. Really, you know.
Thank you.
That's where that comes from.
All of you.
Okay, you were serious, boy.
Oh, I'm passionate about it. So that's why I said I told her.
Right here on Shade the Truth.
I want to ask you something about that.
We're going to bring it out.
I'm passionate about that. Him expressing to you that he's tired or expressing his weakness, what is that changing, or what does that give you an opportunity to do?
Let me be who I'm there to be. You see what I'm saying? Like I said, it becomes a question like, okay, well, what am I here for? If you don't want me to nurture you, if you don't want me to support you, if you don't want me to come to terms with you mentally, so we can come up with a plan and strategize through whatever the situation is, what is my role? Because if I'm just a body to hold because you lacking something, tell me that. So I understand what my role is. I won't overexert myself. You see what I'm saying?
Stay in your lane.
Exactly. If you just need a mama, I got a homegirl for you who, you know what I'm saying, that she just want to be a mama. But I want to be a woman to you. You see what I'm saying? That's because that's how we are made.
You want the responsibility.
You see what I'm saying? That's just cut and dry.
And I understand exactly what you're saying, but some women don't understand that process.
What they're going to lack on that end.
Some women want to do what you're saying that you want to do, but they go overboard with it because you have to be able to be a helpmate and be support to the man, but I think there's a such thing as going overboard, which you got to be able to do it, and at the same time allow that man to still feel like
exactly, but that's that over independence. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and
well, you ain't gonna do it, I'm gonna do it, and this and this, and then they don't feel like they don't feel useful. Right. But it's the same thing, but on the flip side,
they don't feel if you don't allow them to feel like a man, I mean that's almost like losing them. If they can't feel like a man when they're with you, they might as well not even be there. They shut down.
Yeah.
It's a wrap.
It's a wrap. Have you been healed?
Oh, I'm straight. No, because I just had this conversation so much. You know what I'm saying? I had this conversation so much, and it just, it's like, it really is beginning to bother me that our men just can't say, I am dead. I'm tired. I'm stressed. You know what I'm saying? And I made it, personal just to be in the presence of not on a psychological tip, but it's
personal situation.
Oh, it once was. Once was. Yes,
I'm saying, do you feel like they were just hiding, or did they feel like they didn't need no help?
No, it was like she said. It was lack thereof. It wasn't there to be displayed. The images of fatherhood, and what it is to take leadership and ownership and accountability. And that was a lack. So you kind of just feeling your way through what you see. And the pros and cons and learning from mistakes, but you doing it on other people's time and expense. You know what I'm saying? So
you're saying not understanding what to do,
right? And what not
saying,
to do.
Hey,
I just don't know how to do this.
Or even like on the depression thing, there's so many of them that won't get help for that. There are a few that are starting to go now and get counseling and talk about those issues from childhood that are affecting them now, but that's a big problem too. Is that they won't talk about that. Like I said, that makes them weak.
Well, when you say mental health, our people, we like
They don't-
just
they
slow.
Yeah, we put them in the
They don't
special
understand
room.
that stress,
You get in
depression,
the
all of
special
that
room.
is mental health. If you know that your light bill need to be paid and you know you ain't gonna have money for it for another week and a half and you kind of panicking like, where I'm gonna get the money, that is mental. You know what I'm saying? Because your mind is controlling your movements. It's controlling, you know, your emotional state. That's mental, but we don't want to attach that. We've all suffered some type of mental situation or illness or setback or whatever. But it's saying that you need help, verbalizing that you need help.
Yeah.
We all, and we, you know, we suffer the most in society. We do, because just like what we were saying earlier, you're unapproachable. You're a mad woman. You know what I'm saying? You're an angry black woman. You know what I'm saying? You weak. You know what I'm saying? Because today you just like, I can't. You know what I'm saying? That's because it's a stigma. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's fact, but we don't have to fold and roll over to stigma. That's what we do. You see what I'm saying? Yes, we know that we lack certain tools. We know mama might not have been the best. We know daddy was gone. We wish they was together. Life is not exempt from anybody. It's not.
Right.
But it's what you do from what you see. What do you do with it? Because you having kids and they see it.
Right.
It's unconscious characteristics that's being transferred over and over and over and over, and they want to speak out, but they can't, because you stay in the child place and let me try to figure out that I don't understand that I have issues. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And then the babies now they become upset parents. They become, you know, because they don't know how to verbalize. That is that's the point, which I was saying. You know, you come in and you say, I'm tired. You come to me and you say you're tired. Okay, I'm gonna work with you. We're gonna deal with it. We're gonna go through the steps. But then when you start realizing that it's more than just sitting and talking about, because I'm not a psychologist. I'm not gonna put you on my sofa in my office and just let you talk. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's not what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put you to work.
Right.
I'm gonna need you to connect with that. Because it's the emotion that's carrying on. It don't matter how much you block it down or try to suppress it, it's always going to be a trigger to remind you of that. And when that trigger comes, it takes you back to the emotion. So you need to work your way through the emotion in order to conquer it. Forgive yourself, forgive them, forgive the whole situation. Go head on and repair it. Because you're not going to always get that time. Once you recognize that it's an issue, you got to deal with it. It's work to be done. You can't just...
So deal with it rather than...
Right, and you know what I'm saying? Right, because once you say it, because you feel it, once you say it, okay, baby, I've been working hard. I've been trying to feed y'all. I can't give y'all what I want to give you. I'm not there yet. But I haven't been able to grasp what my strong point is so I can get us there. So now, that's when you come in and say, okay, well, baby, I know you on this way. I know you in a different way than the job knows you. So let's put our heads together. And we
I know you in a different way than
you see what I'm saying? Exactly. Because outside I see a little bit more. You see what I'm saying? That's the building process. That's the building process. That's why it's a lot of our youth that's out here, i.e. Nishan, that's what he do. You know what I'm saying? It's the deprogram.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't know that you are unconsciously doing certain behaviors. You don't know it. That's just what you exposed to or avoid. You know what I'm saying? But I can't aid you as your spouse, as your woman, as your wife, as the role that you want me to be or need me to be until you say that.
Right.
We even may both have issues. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people go into situations and having this laundry list saying, well, I'm not going to deal with no man that got this and this and this. Or I'm not going to deal with no woman with this and this and this. But it's about who are you willing to do life with, and let's build and, you know what I'm saying, mold each other and learn each other and to get to that space to where we're comfortable so that when we made that promise, and made that oath under God, sickness and health, financial, all that other stuff, it's actually a fact. Right. Not just because they gonna say these words and you're supposed to say, I do have to. You didn't really realize what you signed up for.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I just want to ask that question Testosterone.
You got going. You didn't want.
That's my thing.
And it kick
I
it
just
in.
ain't no play.
Okay. Look, a lot of points there that you brought up. I think that men in general, we kind of get. Like that's one of those things, like I said, bad rap, and quietness is a bad thing sometimes, and strength is a bad thing sometimes,
That's right.
But I think there's hope, with, like you said, communication. That's kind of like this type of stuff, creating avenues of conversation versus, going out and just doing all the stuff that we used to do, whatever the case may be. If we can get guys to talking, and in a positive way, not in a let's rank on each other, let's talk bad about each other way, then you're gonna open up and get people to expose and kind of try different things. So it just kind of like it starts in the place of creating that. And if you have boys and all that kind of stuff like that, let them express themselves. Let them talk. Let them maybe say it in a particular way, but get them to talk. And don't shut them down when they're talking to you. Yeah, receive that. And once you go a certain place, then if you're choosing someone, you're choosing them to say, okay, what's all these things? Let me investigate that. Let me just not look at the surface or whatever you look like you got going on or whatever. Let me choose the person and let me see the history of you. What did you go through?
And make that decision that I'm really ready to walk that walk.
And if you got something that you got to deal with, then go ahead and deal with it. If you got a person that is one of those people, you got to deal with that. If you're not ready to deal with those other things too, then don't select that person. But if you willing to deal with all of that stuff and help him through whatever the issues that he possibly has, then you'll have someone. But
choose your battles.
Never address it.
Because everything ain't your fight.
Yeah.
Sometimes we be wanting stuff so bad and then just the mess of stuff all up. Like, what they say, think deep before you leap.
Right. All right. Well, hey, look, we appreciate everyone tuning in for today. We are going to wrap up the show. We want to thank all my special guests that came out today. I am Chris Canton. I'm going to go around and tell you how to reach them one more time, and we're going to call it a day. Thank you. All right, go ahead.
Like I said, my name is Lashika. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Lashika Drink Hard Lashika. You'll see me with the curly hair. Look me up.
Michelle Martin Pyramid, Facebook MRS Shell Martin Pyramid. Instagram, Michelle MICHLLE Martin Pyramid. Finally, she as well. Daily quotes, motivational quotes. I say collaborating with people all over the city. Behind the scenes, whatever you need, reach out to me. Who ain't on Facebook? I'm on Facebook.
I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I am there as Terra Live. You can also find me at all of the home games for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm also your vinyl vixen. If you have any shirt needs, please let me know. I love to create them. Again, I am the vinyl vixen.
I'm Tanya Thomas on Facebook, on Instagram. I'm under Event One by Tanya. Pageant director for Little Girls, Miss Proud and Pretty. There's a Facebook page for that. And Women's Pageant, Miss Fabulous Woman. And I also am an event planner, and I do weddings and birthday parties or any events, decorating, full service event planning. And my number is 904-338-8893.
All right. I like how we every episode we get to know one another and we learn something new and we see how people deal with things. So it's a learning experience, and I appreciate y'all for coming out. Like you said, this Sunday we're gonna try to go down Saturday, and actually DJ Bean, DJ Ben, Kenneth, we're gonna have some food, some music. So, it's the first home game, and then it's, I think the London game is after that, which is the very next week. So we're trying to get everyone to come down and support the Candid Jags, where we actually do interviews with all the people about the Jaguars. Also, you see the shirt, the Jaguars, Tennessee Titans. We interview those fans. If you are a neutral fan, we'll interview you too. If you're a business, we ask you to come out and plug your business. LJ the Joker, who has a Big Cat song, he's going to be down there with us. So we just invite everyone out. We are on the corner of Talleyrand and Duval. Talleyrand Duval, which is same spot as last year, which is right across from Gate 3.
It's the parking lot. It's the parking lot right across from Tailgaters.
Right.
Tailgaters Club.
Right. Closest to the stadium. Closest to the stadium. So where everybody's walking across the street at, you'll see it. The Big Ten will be out there. So come out.
What time?
We'll be, like I say, we're going to probably go down early morning Sunday or either Saturday night and camp. like the Florida-Georgia game. So, yeah. If we do that, we'll call it Saturday Night Live.
All right.
And we're going to be like, instead of going to the club.
Sleeping bag.
Well, I mean, Saturday Night Live down in the stadium. Y'all come down and hang out with us and, listen to some music, get a little food, you know what I'm saying? So Candid Jags will be there this Saturday night, Sunday morning. We'll let you know if we get our spot, like we want to get our spot that Saturday night. We'll be down there then, and we'll be partying down there like we from out of town. We don't act like the out of towners in Duval. We got that covered. I got it covered. Y'all people see where people worry about somebody kicking. What all the rest of those people doing this down there? They just be out there all night. You don't go you don't go to sleep. You stay up all night. Party. That's what you do. You just be music bumping and eating, and it's an all night flight. Oh, look, we're gonna get a sleeping tent. Tent City this Saturday coming up. All right, so we appreciate y'all tuning in. Again, make sure you go to YouTube. Make sure you go to YouTube and you subscribe. We need you to subscribe as well as hit the notification so when we post things, you'll see it. And that goes for Shade of Truth Show and the Candid Jags Show. Okay? And business owner, if you want your logo, if you want to be on the flyer, not too late to get on the flyer, hit me up, 904 566-2155, 566-2155. We all at 904. I don't know why. I'm thinking I'm working at Wells Fargo right now. So, I'm on the camera right here. So hit me up if you want your logo and information on the flyer that we will be handing out at the stadium. Get with me for small donation. We don't do GoFundMe. We do work. So we appreciate your help. So if you want to get your name out there to all the fans, all the people walking by and giving interviews and talking to us, get with me. I'll put your information on the flyer. We'll hand them out. So that's what's up. All right. Thank you very much. We appreciate you. Woo!